Hi and welcome back to Factorio, everyone. My name is Poober. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 39 of this Factorio series. And in today's episode, it is finally the day where we're going to be getting our first rocket launched. So where we are standing now is the newest addition to our base, which is our new rocket fuel factory. It is just a slightly smaller version than Exterminator's original rocket fuel factory design, which I'll go ahead and link down below, but also let me know if you would like this smaller version blueprint as well. We already have a train system set up for it, and it does have its own private logistic network in this section here as well that will deliver the supplies to and from the trains where it needs to go. In terms of delivering our rocket fuel, we have a 2-4-2 train setup, and then we have a 1-2-1 train that will be delivering the light oil into the system here. So we'll go ahead and turn it on now to see just how quickly it works. I only have about 200 bots in this private network here, so hopefully that will be enough. But let's go ahead and turn it on with an electrical pole right here to power it up. And there we go, it's already beginning to run. And that was pretty quick. Our first rocket fuel train is already getting delivered. It's a pretty short run from the factory here, which was something I wanted to do so that we didn't have to travel so far. But essentially the 242 train gets dropped off into these boxes here, which will then get onto the main bus line here that will go into the rocket silo itself. And this is something I haven't set up yet, so we'll go ahead and do that now. We'll just bring it up to the rocket silo over here. And let me go ahead and make sure I know where we're going. I don't think I want to fully turn it on quite yet, but we'll go ahead and probably just delete that belt line right there and connect it up there so that we can still have more getting dropped off. So this will get fed directly into the silo. And then I'm thinking in terms of our satellites, which we still have to work on, we'll do a couple of assembly machines right here because these will also require rocket fuel and the low density structures and things like that. So that way we can have the satellites directly fed into the rocket silo as well, while still also pulling from our sources that we have close to the rocket. So we can probably go ahead and just put like 3 or so of these assembly machines down here. Maybe like that for now. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit of power. There we go. And then I don't want to work on this quite yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at our rocket fuel factory just to see how well it's working at this point. And it looks like everything is getting logistic bot coverage, which is fantastic. And one reason for me wanting to pursue getting a rocket launched finally is because I do want the last science pack that we're missing. Once we have that, we can actually start to really improve our bot speed, because at this point in our research, this one here requires the space science pack, and it requires 1,000 of them. I'm not even 100% sure how much we get per one rocket launch, so we'll have to see. But I definitely wanted to start heading in that direction so we can start getting things like this researched. And then that will really improve the speed of these types of factories that are very much so reliant on bots to deliver the items. It looks like this is working pretty well though. Not quite as fast as I was hoping. But it looks like we've got plenty of the light oil barrels. In fact, we have so much in our main logistic network system that we really just have to get rid of it. Let's take a look here. So if you can see at the very bottom right section, the number one product we have in our storage is 42,000 of the light oil barrels. So we definitely have to get rid of them, make some more room in our system. But it seems like all of my storage is essentially going towards barrels of some kind. So we're definitely doing good on our oil products. The thing we might be running low on actually is our petroleum. And down here, this is where we have our crude oil converted into the refined products. So we'll have to start working on getting some more crude oil input so that we can continue to get some more petroleum. But for now, I think this is probably a good start. Let's go ahead and add in a couple lights here so we can see. And then where am I getting attacked from? Is that something I can ignore for now? I'm gonna guess so. You may also have noticed I added in a couple more farming stations over here. We've even branched out over here, and that was even a couple episodes ago. I'm not 100% sure I touched on that. But we've got a decent influx of ore coming in now. And another cool thing, and this is looking at where we have our trains inputting our iron ore and our copper ore, is that I added in these colored arrows. And when they're green, that means that the stations are turned on and that we're physically getting ore input headed down into our main ore bus lines into the smelters. If they are turned off, they will be red. So this train station here actually takes priority because I would rather have the iron plate over steel at this point. So when our iron ore train comes into the stacker here, it will always go to this train station first if there is not enough iron ore in these boxes here. And then if there isn't enough ore in these boxes, this train station turns off and then the arrow here turns red so that we know this train station is turned off and we know that this one will get priority. So that was one of those smart things I did to have a visual cue to know what's going on very quickly at a glance, and then also to make the train station setup a little bit smarter so that we have this one having priority for sure. So we're doing good on our influx of products at this point. I also added in a couple other factories here to solve our blue circuit problem. If you remember from last episode, we were having quite a difficult time getting our blue circuits to fill into our rocket control units over here. They were just kind of trickling in with the one factory that we have here. Now, as you can see, they're entirely backed up now, and that is because I added in 2 more blue circuit factories. And that is this section over here that I added in off camera. It is someone else's design that I will link down below in case you guys are curious. I can have that blueprint available to you. But it's been working pretty well. It definitely seems to eat up pretty much all of my green circuits, which I'm going to have to fix eventually. But it's just a huge green and red circuit sink. But it's really solved the blue circuit issue for now, which is fantastic. So eventually I'll just need to make sure that we solve our red and green circuit issues for good. So I think that's enough talking for now. We need to do a little bit more action, which means let's start getting stuff ready to go to get the first rocket launched. So we should have now these 3 products, which are the low density structures, the rocket fuel, and the rocket control units. So we'll connect these up so that they can start feeding into the rocket silo. So this will be pretty exciting. So we'll have the low density structures getting fed to the bottom section here where we have 5 of these inserters ready to go. And let's grab the correct underground belt. And there they are, already getting fed into the rocket silo, or they should be. Oh, they're not anymore because it only requires 10 per rocket. And then we need the rocket fuel, of course, which will connect up right here now. And how much rocket fuel does it take? It takes only 10 as well. Okay, so this will be way plenty for now. And then let's do the rocket control units, which will feed from the bottom here, I guess. Or we could do the top, which I have here. Yeah, let's have it feed from the top, I think. So we'll do I'm going to do some stack filter inserters just in case I end up putting something else on this belt besides the rocket control units. So we'll do another 5 or so. Let's give it some power. And we'll tell it the recipe we want to pick up, which is the rocket control units here. And then let's hook that up as well. So in these requester boxes, I'm also going to put in just like a very kind of random number of the miscellaneous supplies it takes. So we'll do some rocket control units requesting in here. We'll also do rocket fuel and the low density structures, just in case there's any extra of these that got into our storage system, and that way everything gets used up. So let's go ahead and request 100 for now of each, just in case there's anything in the network. And then rocket fuel. And another nice thing about having this much rocket fuel is that we can actually start to convert some of it to going towards fueling our trains. And that should make the trains faster as well. Okay, so these are now getting fed the rocket parts it needs. And it's actually going fairly quickly, maybe? We've got some productivity modules in it so that every so often we do get an extra rocket part. I wish I could speed this up a little bit. I don't know how I could do that for now, because it seems like the main issue is it's just not loading very quickly because it's taking 3 seconds to do each rocket part. But I'll give that a couple minutes, and then we should be able to get to 100% before the end of today's episode. But for now, we need to work on the satellites. So for that, satellites take 100 low-density structures, 100 solar panels, 100 accumulators, 5 radar machines, 100 processing units, and 50 rocket fuel. So the low-density structures and the rocket fuel will be really easy because we have it right next to those lines here. So for rocket fuel, let's have this line extend. Oh, no, we can just actually have it take like that for the rocket fuel. And then let's go ahead and we'll put in the recipes. So it's already feeding the rocket fuel. And then we need to worry about the low density structures, which I'll just bring from this section over here. And I think I'll do a little bit of weaving here. Let's do like that, because I want to keep the line kind of straight like that. And then for the weaving part, we'll connect up like that so that our rocket fuel goes back into that line again. So let's grab a couple inserters to feed the low density structures. And then I think we'll do requester boxes for the solar panels and the accumulators. Again, I have a really quick factory for that. So as long as we have some robots available, I don't think that will be an issue. We'll just have those requested. And we can do maybe a box. We'll do something like this. Or let's do it at the top. And then we'll have undergrounds so that we can fit an inserter in there. Or actually, I may not need that. Or I do want the faster or the stack inserters instead. So we'll put the boxes here. And then let's fix this belt. Okay, and then let's put in our requester box. We'll do, let's see, how much does each one take? I think, let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, 100 of each. So let's do, let's double that maybe so we can always have extra on hand. So we'll do 100 solar panels, or 200 I mean, and then 200 accumulators. And we'll copy that to the rest of the boxes here. So in just a second here, the robots will be supplying these boxes with that. And then we need the last thing will be the radars and the processing units. So let's go ahead. How many radars does it take? It takes 5, so we'll request 10 radars as well. And there our robots go getting to work on that. And then last but not least are the processing units, which we can take directly from the end of our line right here. And then where am I getting attacked? Looks like, ooh, crap. I better go respond to that real quick, and then I'll be right back, you guys. And we're back. It's only been a couple of minutes, but we already have all of the rocket parts we need. It's at 100%, and it just unlocked for the first time here. So the only thing we need now is to actually get our satellites into the rocket silo itself. I added in the blue circuit so that the assembly machines can be fed from the line here. We just need to figure out a way to get the satellites into the rocket silo. I was thinking for now we could see if we can direct insert and do a couple more underground belt tricks for our lines here to go around the inserters. Okay. Yep, this rocket silo now has everything it needs. We have the one satellite. We have all of our structures in here. We have all of the rocket parts. It is ready to launch. So the last thing we have to do before we can actually get this launched is put in one easy passive provider chest. And that will be because we need somewhere for the rocket science packs to go once this has been launched. So we'll go ahead and do that right there for our output of the rocket science packs. So I guess let's stand back and get this launched. Well, we've technically beat the game, you guys. I've put in over 160 hours into this map alone. That is a crazy amount. So I think for this episode, that is probably a good way to end it. We'll probably be slowing down the series a little bit. I think what I'm planning on doing is optimizing a lot of the factories off camera and then doing a last base tour once I have everything where I want it. We might do a couple more episodes after this one just to work on beautification of the factory and doing a couple other miscellaneous things before we actually do our final base tour. But I think with that, we're going to call it an episode for today. As always, I appreciate you all for joining me, and I can't wait to see you guys for our tour.